Hey Nancy Drew fans, it's time for Book 5, The Secret of Shadow Ranch. Originally published in 1931, this was the last book that was outlined by Edward Stratemeyer, who created the series. Edward did not live to see the success of the Nancy Drew Mystery series, and after his death in 1931, it was up to the women in his life, primarily his assistant Harriet Otis Smith, his daughter Harriet Stratemeyer, who took over the syndicate, and Mildred Augustine, who ghost wrote much of the series to preserve Nancy's legacy. The 1965 revision that I have here has some obvious and some not so obvious differences from the original publication. First of all, Nancy arrives in Phoenix to visit Shadow Ranch on an airplane. 2 additional mysteries were fit into the story upon the rewrite. So in this 1965 version, Nancy is now looking for a missing man, a missing treasure, and she's also trying to uncover the secret of a phantom horse that has been haunting the ranch. I have a journal here that shows the original cover of the book as compared to my yellow version in the 1965, where you can see Nancy is dressed much more modernly and you've got a larger image of the phantom horse there as well. I love this story, and I think that Mildred really hits her stride with Nancy as a character. There's still plenty of excitement with the trio of mysteries, but Nancy comes across as much more well-rounded. She is demurely flirting with the cowboys on the ranch. She goes horseback riding. She is helpful and generous. In comparison to book 4, she's actually not in any danger in this book until page 63 in a chapter that is aptly titled Rock Slide. Here we also meet the fantastic Bess and George, who are Nancy's cousins and best friends who are also visiting Shadow Ranch from River Heights. With the addition of Nancy's boyfriend Ned, who we don't meet for a couple more books, George and Bess sort of round out a Scooby gang for Nancy, and they serve as really nice counterparts to her. George is a tomboy and Bess is kind of a girly girl. Nancy and George both spend quite a bit of time teasing Bess, and this leads to a new feature that I'll call Great Moments in Teasing Bess. We start off early on page 4. Bess and George are filling Nancy in on the mystery when they picked her up at the airport, and they stop at a little cafe for lunch. "This mystery has me so upset," Bess declared, "that my appetite is gone." Then she added, "I'll have a double chocolate sundae with walnuts." Nancy and George grinned. "Poor girl," said George, "she's wasting away." This really happens throughout the book, but here's my other favorite. Bess sighed. "I'm so hot. I'd like to have a cold drink, and I think I need a hot dog to go with it." George grinned. "Eating is really a very fattening hobby, dear cousin. There's plenty of good food for Bess to overindulge, including Nancy's famous chocolate cake with double chocolate walnut icing, and a barbecue feast that features meat that's been cooked overnight in burlap sacks, potato salad, spicy relish, ice cream, and cake. There are also some great outfits: an authentic turquoise blue squaw dress with silver rickrack trimming shown here. This is Nancy dancing with Cowboy Dave, who has completely flipped for Nancy, as Bess says. Next up, The Secret at Redgate Farms. Quick note about format: I'm trying out a new way to record so that I can do these on the road while I'm taking a couple trips this summer. If you have any opinions, please leave a comment.